Yo, yo, how's it going, everybody? It's your boy, the Token Otaku, coming at you again with another manga review. If you guys enjoy the video, please leave a like and a subscribe down below. And if you have any thoughts on the chapter or anything I may say during the review itself, please leave a comment as well. But without anything else, let's get into the review. Eleceed Chapter 344 starts with the crew looking at Ji-woo shocked after he told them about challenging the top 10's disciples and beating Duke as his first opponent. Subin says that even though they had been training like crazy, he's gotten stronger than them. And Ji-woo replies saying that he doesn't think that he's stronger, but he just didn't want to fall behind. Ji-suk then takes Ji-woo by the shoulder and tells Ji-woo that he has grown a lot, saying that at this pace, he'll be qualified to challenge him soon. And as the only person who's ever defeated Ji-woo, he's happy to see how much he's grown. After everyone has a moment to take in that statement, Subin then mentions that Ji-woo has gotten bigger, and he says that Pluton has been increasing his difficulty of his training, telling him that he looks too weak. Ji-woo continues and asks them if they had finished their training, and Subin says that they wanted to continue training, but they all had to come out for graduation. And by his reaction, it's obvious that he's forgotten. She continues saying that she had figured that he'd make that kind of face, and that they planned to end their training right before graduation. Ji-woo looks over the table and realizes that he never even had thought about graduation. And Subin then asks if they can go hang out at Ji-woo's place, as she wants to see all the other cats. He agrees, as the trio collectively realize that it's about to get noisy again. And a couple of my thoughts before we jump into the next part of the chapter. First off, Ji-suk is crazy. Like, I know he's always talking trash and just saying the wildest things, but Ji-woo would probably completely trash him at this point now, because he's always training with Ji Young, so you're training with someone who's better at using the ability than him, and he has the same power set, so it's like, son, I think you need to qualify to fight Ji-woo now. But not really diving too deep into that. He's just talking crazy. Secondary note, nothing will stop that boy Woo-in from eating. My man is hungry. He like Tyrese from Too Fast, Too Furious. He is eating every single second. Even when they start off in there, everyone is shocked. He is still slurping noodles at that moment. Just great. I love Woo-in. The silent, hungry boy. And with those two thoughts out of the way, let's cut back to the chapter as everyone is leaving together and talking about getting toys and treats for the cats. As Vesper calls out and asks Ji-woo if he has finished his training. He says that they just wrapped up, and Vesper once again asks for him to spare some time for her. Ji-woo once again apologizes and tells her that he has made plans to spend time with his friends. Vesper thinks that since they are his friends, she should treat them with the proper courtesy, and she then introduces herself, and the crew realize that she is related to Arthur. Ji-woo confirms this and then introduces everyone to Vesper, and she remembers their names because they went to the World Ranker Academy. She then says that it is nice to meet them and that she is in the country for a while for work, and then asks them if she can have a moment of time alone with Ji-woo. Subin then reiterates the question and says that she wants to spend time alone with Ji-woo, and Vesper says yes. The crew is unimpressed, and the brain cell links up, and Ji-suk says no, and Subin asks why they should, and Vesper is left completely speechless, as Ji-suk says they should probably go. As they are leaving, the brain cell looks back, and Subin then asks Ji-woo if he missed her. Ji-woo tells her that of course he missed her, and Vesper is shocked as she assumes that the person Ji-woo likes is Subin. Subin then says that they should spend the night at his place again, and Ji-woo responds that they had already decided that earlier. Ji-suk then digs the knife in even deeper by loudly proclaiming how jealous he is. And Vesper is completely shocked as the brain cell looks back and sees that their plan is working perfectly as the entire group leaves. Vesper is then stuck thinking that it is vulgar for the two of them to be spending the night together, and as she's having this thought, Black asks Vesper if she is sure about her plan, and White continues saying that it seems like the two of them don't have a normal relationship. And after a moment, Vesper says that it doesn't matter, and that it would be strange if there wasn't a girl clinging to him, and that marriage is what is important, but that she can't sit back and do nothing. The chapter then cuts to Ji Young asking Vesper what is happening, and Vesper responds that she needs Ji Young's help, and Ji Young asks what kind of help she has in mind, and Vesper then asks her to help her get closer with Ji Woo. Then Ji Young makes her explain what she means, and Vesper replies that she wants a special relationship with Ji Woo as the chapter comes to an end. So, with the recap of the chapter over, I'd like to get into my thoughts and predictions. So, just one thing before I get into my thoughts and predictions, I'd like to ask anyone who watched the previous review that I put out, how well do you guys think I did on my prediction? Like a 0 to 10 kind of game. I just want to know because I feel like I got pretty close. It wasn't exact, and I'm never expecting to hit the bullseye on it, but I feel like I got it kind of close. It wasn't exactly 1 to 1 because I had completely forgotten that Jisuk and Subin are just complete trolls and they will pick on anyone the moment you show any form of like mental weakness. But I feel like I had the ingredients, right? Like I didn't make lasagna, but I made baked ziti, if you get what I'm saying there. So, expounding upon that thought, uh, I had forgotten about Jisuk and Subin, who I've taken to calling the brain cell now, and how much of a menace they are together. Because individually, they're already crazy and low key bullies, but when they get together, it's just like the fusion dance of evil and terror. Like, they are just going to pick on everyone they can. And we see it work to extremely great effect here. And let's really quick talk about the targeting of that uh, bullying Vesper Brian, who has somehow made an even worse plan than before because it makes no sense from any perspective that you can figure. I understand from the third person, we know the relationship between Ji Young and Ji Woo and how she 100% probably isn't going to help this woman get closer to him in that way. But even from a first person perspective, it doesn't make any sense because one, it's just more work for Ji Young trying to set these two up. Two, what is she getting out of this dealing? Because Jiwoo isn't a part of Shinhwa, so even if they do get married or end up together, it's not like Shinhwa now has a connection to the Bryan family. And then it's just more work for someone who already has so much on their plate, pretty much. Like, she's running an entire organization on her own. It's just, there's no reason for her to want to do this for her. So, the plan, and especially now that you've brought the plan to the person who he actually likes and told him that you're trying to be with him in that sort of way, it's just, I didn't know a plane could crash further than the ground, but somehow it hit the ground and kept going some way. And I think we're now approaching the Earth's core with how terrible this plane is getting. But that leads into my predictions, which doesn't really change a whole lot from the last chapter. I still think Vesper is going to eventually send someone after at least Subin. Know the relationship between Ji Young and Ji Woo and how she 100% probably isn't going to help this woman get closer to him in that way. But even from a first person perspective, it doesn't make any sense because one, it's just more work for Ji Young trying to set these two up. Two, what is she getting out of this dealing? Because Jiwoo isn't a part of Shinhwa, so even if they do get married or end up together, it's not like Shinhwa now has a connection to the Bryan family. And then it's just more work for someone who already has so much on their plate, pretty much. Like, she's running an entire organization on her own. It's just, there's no reason for her to want to do this for her. So the plan, and especially now that you've brought the plan to the person who he actually likes and told him that you're trying to be with him in that sort of way. It's just, I didn't know a plane could crash further than the ground, but somehow it hit the ground and kept going some way. And I think we're now approaching the Earth's core with how terrible this planet is getting. But that leads into my predictions, which doesn't really change a whole lot from the last chapter. I still think Vesper is going to eventually send someone after at least Subin. Where my prediction is, I guess, evolving more or less than changing, is that I'm guessing that this is going to happen during their graduation or like before it in some type of way, because that gives the group a reason to be nearby or together, and then they can all fight and we can see how powerful they've all become and all their cool new moves and whatever, you know? And I feel like that also gives Ji Young a reason to be nearby, because she's obviously probably going to go to her brother's graduation. She definitely cares for Ji-suk, so she'll be there, and then either through just putting it together from information that she has or seeing something, or maybe In-hyuk sees something because he's always with her and he's also seemingly close to Ji-suk and everyone as well. So he'll probably show up to the graduation as well. And some sort of way it's going to come to light what she was trying to do. I guess it'll be Ji Young versus Vesper. Because if I assume that Subin's going to fight somebody who Vesper's going to send, like imagining there'll be 4 people, because what's easier than 1v1? And then Ji Young finds out about the plan, gets mad, which obviously completely valid, and then she goes and fights Vesper, and then Vesper gets into even more trouble than she already was. And then we're finally done with Vesper. But obviously this isn't what I think is going to happen in the exact next chapter. I'm guessing next chapter we're going to do more, probably them hanging out at the house, doing a little bit of talking, and then probably them going to school to like set up the whole graduation thing that they just brought up in the chapter. And then I'm going to guess in like the next, I'll say 2 to 3. Really, because Eleceed doesn't spend a whole lot of time on like fluff. Like it tends to get quickly to the punch. Like it goes set up, punch, like, you know what I mean? So even though this has been quite a bit of setup, there have been the little jabs in the middle, like the training and then the trio showing up. So something did happen, you know what I mean? But it wasn't like the major wind up of the arc, which I'm guessing for this arc is going to be my prediction of this whole big fight before or after graduation, or maybe even during the graduation, who knows. But that's all my thoughts and predictions. If you guys did make it this far, thank you guys for watching the video. Please do leave me a like. And if you aren't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. And if you have any thoughts on the chapter or my predictions, maybe you have a better prediction than me or have a tweak on what I said, please leave it down below. I'd love to hear your guys' theories or maybe even ideas for where this might be going. But with that all said, it's been your boy, the Token Otaku. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
You haven't noticed, I'm staying focused. They say in the way I roll.